Hey, it's Regina at Tarot and Time in Kent, Connecticut, here to talk to you about the month of May using tarot and astrology for everyday living. So let's jump right into the month. We left off on May 5th during last month's report. So we know the first couple of days of May, we have May Day, the celebration of Beltane, the pagan holiday of fertility, and spring kind of rites of passage. Now, we know that we finally have all the planets direct, and that is just for the first couple days of May. We haven't had all planets direct in a long time, in a lot of months. So enjoy this. Enjoy that we have this little reprieve here. But on May 3rd, we begin the Pluto retrograde. Now, when I was learning astrology, it was taught to me that there's always a planet in retrograde, especially the outer planets. They retrograde a lot. And the outer planets, all the planets affect us, but the outer planets have more themes of like generational effect or bigger picture effect. And we often look at the personal planets as the ones that have a little bit more influence on our everyday living. And those personal planets are planets like Mercury and Mars and Venus. So all of the personal planets are direct, but remember, we're coming out of a Venus retrograde. And I don't know about you, but it was a hairy retrograde for me. I definitely got to see my relationship with money, and it's, not everything's pretty. And this was the shadow. And so this was a time to really look at our relationship with ourselves, what our real feelings are about ourselves, where we're standing in our own way. All of these things were what was being brought to the surface during this Venus retrograde that went through the sign of Aries, started off at 10 degrees Aries, which to me is like very much on the surface, Aries, right? It's kind of in your face. And then it retrograded back to 24 degrees Pisces, which Pisces is all the hidden stuff, all the internal stuff. So I think it's interesting to see kind of like what we present as, and then what's truly going on in the background. Maybe some of the secrets we keep, especially about our relationship with money or our own relationship with our self-value. So this was a time to break cycles, because Pisces is all about, undoing karma. And there was a real look at our impulsive spending. And so this is an interesting time. It took us back to January 28th. So when the Venus was moving along, then it went backwards in degrees, and it went back all the way to what was going on January 28th until now. So it's interesting to look at things. And now that it's over, right? It's over, but it's still affecting us until May 16th, because that's the third swipe over all that's happened. So you still want to keep your eyes and ears opened. You want to see what deep work you did during the retrograde and see the results of it now. What's shifting, what's changing. Now, we're finished with the Mercury retrograde. Thank goodness that ended back in April, and the effect of it ended back on April 25th. So we're past that point. And now we move into this beautiful month of May. So Pluto, the planet of transformation and change, death and rebirth, power, other people's money, combined monies, it rules sex, all this power stuff. Pluto begins its retrograde on May 3rd. It will last till October 12th. It's going to take us back to 1 degree Aquarius. And that last time we were at 1 degree of Aquarius with Pluto was on New Year's Eve. So we're basically going to revisit what was going on through the beginning of 2025. So just observe, see what's going on, see where Pluto wants us to make some changes. Okay. So we'll have a 22 degree full Scorpio moon on Monday the 12th at 12:56 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is called the flower moon. It's also called a micro moon. For some reason, it seems to look a little smaller. Now, this moon will be opposite Uranus, because we will have the moon in Scorpio, and Scorpio is always opposite Taurus. And we've had Uranus hanging out in Taurus for a while now. So Uranus, the oh wow planet, anything can happen planet, is going to be together with the sun, and then the moon will be opposite that. Okay. There's also a positive trine going on with the moon with Saturn, the planet of responsibility, and Neptune, the great healer, the planet of creativity. So this should be an interesting Scorpio full moon. Scorpio is ruled by Pluto, also co-ruled by Mars. And we know Mars just changed signs into Leo. It had been hanging out in Cancer for quite a long time now. So it's nice to get the move of Mars into Leo. And then the full Scorpio moon, so it's two rulers are having changes. Mars is changing signs, Pluto's retrograding. So this will be an interesting full moon with its ruling planets going through some changes. Now we also will have a new moon at 6 degrees of Gemini. That's on Monday, May 26th. And this will be at 11:02 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's going to be conjunct Mercury. Mercury is the ruler of Gemini, so it's going to be interesting to have the moon in the sign of Gemini. Mercury there, conjunct. Mercury rules Gemini all together, and it will also be sextile, which is a positive aspect, Saturn and Neptune in the sign of Pisces. Or actually, by then, Saturn and Neptune will both have moved into Aries. That's a big move. There's a lot of big moves going on this month. So on the new moon, on the 26th, we'll have 4 planets in the sign of Gemini: the sun, the moon, Mercury, and then remember, Jupiter's been hanging out in Gemini for the past year. It's going to be leaving, I believe, very soon. So this will be, I believe, the last moon placement with Jupiter still in Gemini. And so this is going to make things big. And we've got the planet of communication involved. So we are going to have to be careful with our words, but it's a great time to make plans. It's a great time to write out your business plan, write out a conversation that you need to have, because Mercury is the communicator and Jupiter's there and wants to make it really big. Now, this month, we'll have the the sun in the sign of Taurus until the 20th of the month, and then it moves into Gemini. Now, remember, we're going through a lot of changes. It feels like for a while, we had all these planets in Pisces. They were all kind of scrunched together, even though they're millions of miles apart. In astrology, they look really scrunched together. And so that makes our charts not balanced. It makes our lives not balanced. It makes things really consolidated in certain areas. And remember, the planets were hanging out in Pisces. And because of all the retrogrades that were going on, they kept returning back to Pisces. And I love Pisces, and I'm a lot of Pisces. But after a while, Pisces is exhausting. It's unclear. It's confusing, it is foggy, and it is, after a while, you just want clarity. And so this is what's going to start to happen now. Now, are we going to like the clarity that we see? That's a whole nother question. But especially with that Venus retrograde still coming down off of that, we're going to have to see the reality of what is. We're going to have to advocate for what it is that we believe and what we want. And Aries is ruled by Mars, the god of war. So we know there's going to be a lot of in-your-face kind of energy. Okay, so we have to bring this in the most peaceful and harmonious manner that it can be done. But there's things here. The month of May, to me, has that, I hear Bob Marley in the back of my head, get up, stand up for your rights. And so you could take that into a political way if you want to look at it that way, or you can stand up for yourself and advocate for yourself to start getting on with things and start healing and moving forward. So I'm kind of excited about all the planetary movements. We've had Neptune in Pisces for so long. It's going to finally make its move. I think Neptune changes signs every 14 years. So it's making its move into Aries. That's a big deal. Saturn changes signs every 2.5 years, but Saturn's intense. And so you don't really want it in your sign for more than 2.5 years. So it's going to start to make its move from Pisces into Aries. And it's going to be interesting. These outer planets affect us, they affect the whole world. And so we have big changes happening. Now, let's keep envisioning it for the better. Let's allow this full Scorpio moon to transform things for the better. Now, we're going to be low on water planets this month, and that's surprising because we've had so much Pisces. We had Mars in Cancer for so long, and we're finally moving out of all that watery stage, okay? As everything starts to move to Aries. Saturn will make its move into Aries on the 24th. We do have a lot of Earth energy. It's Taurus season, so we've got some planets there. And we also, what else do we have? Do we have anything else in Earth signs? Well, we have a lot of fire also. We've got a couple planets in fire. We've got not a lot of air, but we do have Jupiter still in Gemini, and Jupiter makes everything big. So I think that kind of balances things out. So things are starting to balance out a little bit. We'll see it more in June as the planets start to spread out across the charts more. But again, if you've been feeling like things are just not clicking into place for you, that's because the energy was only in one area of your chart, maybe two over the past, I'd say at least 4 months. Okay. Maybe even 6 months. So I've been feeling it. I've been feeling like, when is the change coming? Why is it feels like a stagnancy. And so this is going to change. So that's good news. All right. Now, let's see. Anything else to tell you? Saturn moving into Aries. That will happen on, let's see. It's been in Pisces from March 7th of 2023 until May 24th of 2025. Then it's going to retrograde back into Pisces at some point, but we're going to start to see the movement, okay? And remember, Saturn is the lord of the zodiac. Saturn is responsibility, it's hardship, but it's also long-term success. It rules the sign Capricorn, a sign of discipline and determination, okay? It's also associated with the sign Aquarius, which is a sign of your hopes and dreams and newness. So we're going to have some strong visibility with Saturn moving into Aries. Okay, so I picked a couple cards. These are the cards to represent the overall month of May. I did look at these ahead of time. And the first card that comes out is the Four of Cups. And I found this interesting because we were talking about Beltane, and we were talking, last month talking about Beltane. We included it in the April forecast. And Beltane is the pagan celebration of the green man and the goddess, and it's a rite of fertility. And so it's interesting how this man is covered in greens, and he's got the Three of Cups in front of him. And that feels very Beltane-like to me because, it was a big party back in the pagan days when they did this, and, it was a celebration, and there was a lot of risque behavior, and there was a lot of babies that came out of it. Okay. So we see him kind of looking at the Three of Cups, which would be that scene. It would be the party scene. It would be the celebration scene. But yet the attention there is going on this new cup that's being handed in. Okay. So it shows me that there's some fresh energy coming in, and, maybe you've been making the best of it and distracting yourself, but now we see the cup of satisfaction being offered, and I'm really happy to see that here in the month of May. Now, the Seven of Cups showed up. This is from the Herbal Tarot by Michael Tierra and Candace Canton, I think is her last name. Now, the Seven of Cups is here, so we see that there's still a lot of cloudiness, because Seven of Cups is where there's all these options. A lot of them are really right? It feels very Pisces-like. We've got juniper berries up at the top. And, I think I just love the smell of juniper. I love burning juniper. It's a beautiful smell. But juniper, I know the essential oil is used for fear, for night terrors, for bad dreams, it's a great essential oil to diffuse at night. And so Seven of Cups is coming in here kind of it almost looks like with all the clouds, it makes me feel like there is a diffuser running. And it's almost like, okay, let's just calm down these fears of all the unknown. Okay. Because it looks to me like that cup of satisfaction came out of those clouds, that came out. It's like your higher power handing you something. Now, I wasn't surprised to see the Five of Pentacles show up, because this is the poverty mentality card. This is like the fear of money or the fear of feeling left out, being left out in the cold, the fear of there not being enough. And I think, let's be real. We're all in it right now. We're all unsure of what's going on with our economy. We're looking, the news is blasting us increases of prices of things, and it's scary. And so the reality is we can, we have to be as positive as possible. We have to stay focused, but these are some realities and they're big. We can see them in the whole world. And now we're seeing it in our own country. So I know a lot of people are scared. I'm right there with you. But that's not where we're going to find peace, right? We can acknowledge it. We can try to advocate for what we can try to advocate for. But the bottom line is we're going to be looking at our relationship with money, with value. We're going to have to look at our spending because things are going to be changing prices. But we're coming out of this Venus retrograde. And so we got to see a glimpse of what was really going on. Okay. And we have to love ourselves up and comfort ourselves and tell ourselves, that we're going to move through this. Now, I was happy to see the Hermit show up because the Hermit is our card of the year, right? 2025 equals 9. I've got this really cool version of the Hermit here. You don't usually see the Hermit as a woman. I like that she's up there on top of her lighthouse. She's fishing, right? Maybe she's throwing some things back. She's getting clear. She's like almost specific. Like maybe she's looking for a certain kind of fish. Maybe she just needed some alone time to ponder it all. And so making sure that you're taking care of your health and well-being and not letting fear dominate. Okay. So those are our theme cards for the month. I'm going to push those to the back. And now we're going to break down and go into week by week for the month of May. We'll pull some more cards for each week. So we start off where we left off, which was May 5th through 11th. And May 5th is Cinco de Mayo. And we start off with, let's see what's going on the 5th. I wrote down details of plans. And we want to pay attention to the details because the moon is going to move into Virgo in the mid-afternoon on Monday the 5th. And some people may be celebrating Cinco de Mayo. It's known for its margaritas, so make sure that you know who's driving, okay? Because the details are where the energy is. So make sure that you have plans. Make sure that you're being smart. On Tuesday the 6th, I wrote down ignorance is no excuse for the law. And we have a trine going on with the moon and the sun on the 6th. Also with the sun in Taurus, yes, because it's an earth sign, is trining the moon in Virgo and Uranus. So those are positive aspects, but we do have a square with Jupiter in Gemini, and we have a square with Saturn in Pisces. And so, the law would be Saturn, and Jupiter makes it bigger, and there's a square. So just make really good choices on the 5th and 6th. If you miss tax day on the 15th, the 5th and 6th are good days to take care of that, okay? Now, we move into the 7th, and we will have the moon also still in the sign of Virgo, and the south node is going to be involved, and that is the past. So I wrote down, allow old bad habits to fall away on Wednesday the 7th. Maybe you can notice some old habits and maybe start making some plans for new wonderful habits. Now, most of this month, we're going to have Saturn square Jupiter. That's just going to be going on for a long period this month. Saturn, the planet of responsibility, squaring Jupiter in the sign of Gemini. But we also have Mars trining Venus most of the month, and that is a really great thing. So Mars, written as a symbol for men, the planet of action and motivation, is trining, making a positive aspect with Venus. And, coming out of this Venus retrograde, we could really use some positive Venus energy so we can see that our actions in pursuing value, pursuing money, pursuing love, there's a positive trine there. So that's really exciting. Now, Thursday the 8th, the moon enters Libra. And this is the first time that the moon enters Libra since the Libra full moon back on April 12th. So, what have you learned about relationships since that Libra full moon and also through that Venus retrograde in general? So, just take note of that. The moon will be opposite Venus in Aries because Aries and Libra are always across from each other. And also other planets hanging out in Aries like Neptune and Saturn. Saturn will be in its late degrees of Pisces, but it'll still be considered an opposition. So there's a lot of energy here to look at these things, who we are in relationship, who we are on our own. Friday the 9th, enjoy your relationships, especially the one with yourself. We have a beautiful trine going on with the planet Jupiter, the planet of luck and blessings. Mercury square Pluto begins, okay? Mercury, the planet of communication, making a abrasive aspect, 90-degree angle with Pluto. Now, we have Saturday the 10th. First of all, Mercury is going to move into the grounded earth sign of Taurus. Okay, so it's going to give us a little more earth energy. I find Mercury in Taurus to be really stable, really great advice out there. Good time to get really grounded. Now, Saturday, I wrote down it's going to be a sexy weekend, so choose passion. The moon will enter Scorpio on the evening, 3:58 p.m. on Saturday the 10th, and it will be there on Sunday. But remember, passion runs high, but so do emotions. Also, whatever you do, don't forget your mother on Sunday the 11th because it's Mother's Day, okay? And we'll be heading to a Scorpio full moon. Okay, we're pulling some cards here for this week ahead. Haven't looked at any of these yet. Remember, in the background are the cards that I picked for the overall month. Those are going to stay there. Let's see what we've got for this week ahead. So we start off with the Lovers. Very Gemini-like card. This is a card, yes, it's a card of love. Remember, Mars is trining Venus, but this is really a card of choices. So you may have some choices to make this week. We've seen a lot of relationship themes with the first Libra full moons, first moon in Libra since the Libra full moon. So we've got a lot of love themes and we've got a lot about choices. Okay, the Ten of Swords here looks like, doesn't look that great. Looks like there's been a lot of overthinking and a lot of worrying. It's the plant ephedra. I can't remember ephedra. It sounds familiar. I thought it was used for pain. But anyways, we just see a lot of overthinking. We see some wounds, right? I think those are the berries that made the red there, but it definitely implies blood. So there's a lot. There's a lot of overstimulation. You might be hitting a dead end in a relationship. It might hurt right now, but it's shifting, okay? And your third card is the Ten of Pentacles. So we see family life here. We see what's really matters here and turning to the people who are helpful to you. Okay, so pretty intense week here this first week. Let me just pull a card for some best advice for the week. What is the best advice this first week? And the Ace of Cups shows up. So the Ace of Cups is the cup of satisfaction. It's showing you reaching for it. It feels very peaceful and in harmony. It's a 1. We know that 10 of Swords is a 1 in numerology. 1 and 0 equals 1. So we see a shift here of you reaching towards what truly brings you joy, the simple things. The weather's getting beautiful. It looks like you're outside, out and about. Okay, so that is your remedy. I'm going to throw you some dice for this week. Let's see what else we get. We have the South Node. Move to that. Oh, no, it's 2. South Node in the sign of Taurus in the second house. All right, interesting, because the South Node is the cup of the past. So there's some old behavior going on there in the sign of Taurus, which is the second house, which you also rolled second house. We're in Taurus season. Taurus is ruled by Venus. A lot of people just think about money when they think about Venus. And but it also is relationships. So I see something about the past, something you've been dealing with. This can be old ways of thinking about money. Again, this goes back to the Venus retrograde, this third swipe over all that's happening. So some of these things some of these thoughts that you're thinking about money, and I'm going to say money, and you can sub the word relationships because they it could go towards either way. But the old relationship that you have with value, whether it be with your wallet or whether it be with relationships, is ready to change. This old way doesn't work anymore. It's just causing you harm, and it's untrue. Okay, so we're going to look at it, we're going to transform it, we're going to make new choices. And that's a lot for 1 week, but this is a great way to start off the month and to end this Mercury or this Venus retrograde. So I think it's going to be a really good thing. We move into the second week of May, which is May 12th through May 18th. And this is we start off the week right away with our full Scorpio moon. And this happens at 12:56 p.m. on Monday the 12th. And it is at 22 degrees Scorpio. It's going to be opposite the sun in Taurus and Uranus in Taurus, trining Saturn and Neptune. So trines are a very positive aspect. We know we have a trine going on most of the month with Mars, the planet of action, written as a symbol for men, trining Venus, written as a symbol for women. And so that's a beautiful thing, right? And we do have a couple squares happening still. We have Mercury square Pluto for most of the week. We have Saturn square Jupiter for most of the month, okay? But we are going to make the most of this, right? Squares are just challenges. Now, the sun is going to be close to Uranus in Taurus. We talked about that. And so anything can happen when Uranus is involved, but your hopes and dreams can happen too. And so for Monday the 12th, I wrote down dreams can come true on this flower moon. Very exciting. Now, things are big. There's a lot of big energy when there's full moons. Now, on the 13th, the moon will move into Sagittarius early in the morning, so keep things light and have fun. Enjoy it. On Wednesday the 14th, we have more lightness with the moon continuing in the playful sign of Sagittarius, fire sign, and it's going to be trining those planets in Aries and also Mars in Leo, so we can actually get a lot done. On Thursday the 15th, it's a good day to get back to work if we've been goofing off. The moon enters Capricorn mid-afternoon, and it will be trining Mercury. So back to work on the 15th. The 16th is a great day to run errands. It's a good day for a therapy session. We have the moon in the sign of Capricorn, trining Mercury in the sign of Taurus. So that's why it's such a good time to talk and get things out and get to the bottom of things. But it will be square Venus. Now, the weekend, we'll have the moon in Capricorn on Saturday and then into Aquarius on Sunday. So Saturday is a great day to enjoy nature, enjoy a great meal. There's a trine with the planets in Taurus. Taurus rules nature. Get out in it. Sunday, life sure won't be boring with the moon in Aquarius. And you know what else is hanging out in Aquarius? Good old Pluto. So the moon will be conjunct Pluto. So it's going to be an interesting time on Sunday the 18th. You just never know when Aquarius is involved. So let's pick a couple cards for this week, this full Scorpio moon week. This deck that I'm shuffling right now is called now I forgot what it's called. Well, it's one of those classic. Oh my goodness, I forgot what it's called. And something Smith. And I've been really enjoying it. Ryder Smith? No, I forget. But anyways, it's there and it's a good one. Let's see what you got for the week ahead here. So you've got this Four of Wands. This is like when it usually looks like people leaving on a honeymoon. Looks like they left. Okay, so we just see like there was a celebration and it's kind of quiet now. Right. Then we've got the Justice card. This is the plantain plant. So this is an expression of Libra energy, relationship energy, and the gift. This is an oracle card from the Oracle of Mystical Moments, and we see the gift here. It looks like a swan maybe has brought her this gift. And so there's something beautiful here. The gift of the full moon, maybe some gift of clarity. There's right next to justice, which rules relationships. Let's see what the book has to say about it. It says, whimsy, excitement, curiosity, gift. Under a snow sky, a woman with feathered hair holds a little box. What is inside the box? We don't know for sure, but it seems to be a gift. Simple on the outside, but perhaps magical within. We can only imagine what would happen if we could tug the string and peer inside. Would it be the fulfillment of an old wish? Remember the curiosity we have before opening presents, the magical space between dreams and truth. A gift reminds us of the excitement we have in these special moments. Okay, and this feels like a special moment here in the beginning. It's like the end of the party, and there's still beauty and all the beautiful memories of it. Okay, so a lot here about relationship gifts. A lot here. We said we started off the week with dreams can come true. Keep it light, have fun, and take care of yourself. Okay, let's roll you some dice. Again, the cards up at the top are the cards for the month, and now this is your week. Let's see what we have for dice. Got the moon in the sign of Pisces in the 11th house. Okay, so the moon in Pisces, water sign, creative sign, healing sign, sign of retreating back. In the 11th house, which is the house of your hopes and dreams, it's Aquarius's house. It's the house of newness and humanitarian, and it references friends and large groups of people. So it's kind of like this dreamy state. Maybe you need to give yourself the gift of some quiet time so you can think your own thoughts, so you can envision your dreams, so that you can allow them to come true. Now we move into the week of May 19th through May 25th. This is the week that the sun enters Gemini. So Monday the 19th is our last day with the sun in Taurus. The moon is in Aquarius, and it's square its ruler, Uranus. So Aquarius squaring Uranus. Anything can happen. Envision good stuff. Don't try to push for your way because you'll never win. And be open to change. Tuesday the 20th, welcome to Gemini season, and social energy abounds. So about 2:55 p.m., the sun will enter Gemini. The moon will enter Pisces early in the morning. And here we are into Gemini season. And remember, Jupiter's still hanging out in Gemini. It makes things big. And here we go, air energy. So Wednesday, the 21st, is a smoother day with the sextile going on with Mercury, and Mercury is the ruler of Gemini, and there's a positive aspect with Mercury. So it's a great day to be social. It's going to be smoother. And Pisces, Pisces likes energy is like to retreat back. So maybe take some quiet time on Wednesday, the 21st. Thursday, the 22nd. Our Mars square Mercury ends, but Saturn square Jupiter continues. But remember, we have that nice trine going on with Mars and Venus. Now, Thursday the 22nd, take positive action in love. It's a good day for it. Now, Friday the 23rd, we've got more good vibes. We got the moon close to Venus. The moon will be in Aries, and it will be trining Mars. So we've got some good stuff going on there on Friday the 23rd. Now this is the day that Saturn moves to Aries. This is a big deal. It's been about 2.5 years in Pisces. So now we get into the sign of Aries. We've been waiting for this, okay? It was in Pisces since March 7th of 2023. And it will retrograde later, but we're not going to worry about that right now. So big change there on the 24th. Accept the changes is my advice, and just hold on to your hat because we're going to go into new territory. Now, Sunday, the energy is really consolidated. We have 3 planets in Taurus, and then Mercury enters Gemini. So we'll have 3 planets in Gemini plus the Sun plus Jupiter. I think that's right. Did I get that right? So basically, we're making our descent over to Gemini. Planets are going to start moving that way, starting with Mercury on Sunday the 25th. Energy is very consolidated, so don't expect balance, okay? We'll get that a little bit later in spring into summer. We're going to start to see the planets kind of spread out in the chart a little bit more, okay? So let's pull a few cards here for this big week of the Sun changing signs to Gemini and Saturn changing signs to Aries and Mercury also moving to Gemini. So, with Mercury and Gemini, we're going to be very vocal. We're going to have a lot to say. Gemini is the sign, the communicator of the zodiac. And again, very social. All right, let's see. I haven't looked at any of these cards. I'm using a couple different decks. Let's see what you need to know here. Card number 1, we have the Hermit, our card of the year. Virgo energy. The Hermit's walking his path of truth, okay? So major arcana. You also have the Hermit for the month because those cards up there are the cards for the month. So now you've got another version of the Hermit from the Morgan Greer deck. I was trying to remember the name of this deck. Okay, so there he is holding, almost feels like he's holding Aquarius energy because of that star and that lantern. And so the Hermit is our inner guide. He pays attention to the details. He needs alone time to think his own thoughts. Okay, he's guiding us forward. We have the 6 of Pentacles here, the hops card. And, hops they use for beer, but they also use hops in like tinctures and stuff because it's very calming. So 6 of Pentacles are some kind of financial transaction going on. And the 9 of Wands. So we can see some old injury there. Almost looks like those scars have become part of the fabric, like it's part of the style now. So we see some old wounds. Looks like she's making the best of it. And we keep having these continual themes of like the Mercury retrograde, looking, or not the Mercury retrograde, the Venus retrograde, kind of coming to the close of that. By May 16th, we kind of went back over the territory, revisited everything that had been going on with the Venus retrograde. So this is really our first week of being like done with the Venus retrograde and really understanding what we've learned. And, we might have some old wounds here that we have to deal with. And 9 of Wands is usually a card of being overstimulated. So we definitely want to make sure that we're getting the alone time and the rest that we need. Looks like there's some big financial transaction going on this week also. Let's roll some dice for you. And we rolled Uranus, the oh wow planet, anything can happen planet, in the sign of Capricorn, which has a very grounded, it's like our work, our business, or it can even be like our home because it rules foundations of homes, in the 10th house, which is Capricorn's house. So you have Uranus showing up in the house of your career, your long-term standing in this world, your legacy. So this is a big week here. So please pay attention to what is going on this week, all right? And if something comes up out of the blue, it's almost like somebody's handing you money out of the blue. There's some kind of transaction going on here. Maybe it's a difficult decision, but it looks like something is happening here. Now we move into our final week of May 26th through June 1st. This is the Gemini new moon week. We actually start off the Monday with the new moon at 11:02 p.m. in the sign of Gemini. And we are, let's see, did I get how many degrees? Yeah, 6 degrees of Gemini. Also conjunct Mercury, right? And Mercury is the ruler of Gemini. So there's going to be a lot here about communication, speaking up, speaking your truth. We have a lot of planets in Gemini. This new moon will be sextile Saturn and Neptune, which is a positive aspect. So this can be a really amazing new moon. It's also Memorial Day. So it's a pretty intense day as it is. So new moons, place your order. This is a really good new moon to really write your order to the universe out because it's Gemini, and Gemini would be the writer. So speak up, write it down, write down your order on Monday, 5:26. Now we move into Tuesday, the 27th. We continue to have the moon in Gemini. Super social energy. Enjoy your people. There's a sextile, positive aspect between Venus and Mars. So there's some good stuff. There is a square with Jupiter, with Saturn. So make sure that you are taking care of your responsibilities. Now, Wednesday, the 28th, I wrote, take care of your responsibilities in your home specifically, because the moon will move into Cancer at 1:33 p.m. The moon is square Saturn and Neptune. So just take care of your responsibilities. A good day to clean and create, just make things better on the 28th. The 29th, the moon continues to be in the sign of Cancer, but it is squaring Venus. And so you just want to be careful, plan your words wisely. You don't want to get into fights with partners, and just take it easy, be gentle on the 29th. Now, on the 30th, the moon will move into Leo at 4:17 p.m. So I think by the afternoon, there'll be more fun to be had. So Friday night could be a really fun night. There's a trine with Saturn and Neptune, and it's going to be opposite Pluto. So if you play your cards just right, especially with your partner, there's some sexy energy available in the evening. Okay. Now the weekend. Let's see, where is the moon all weekend? We'll have it in Leo on Saturday. Really, it's a Leo weekend because the moon will move into Virgo late Sunday night. So Leo weekend, apply your energy towards fun and harmony on Saturday. And on Sunday, make some plans, but be flexible, because on Sunday we have a square with Uranus. And anytime Uranus is involved, things can come up out of the blue. But, the moon's going to be in Leo, and Mars is in Leo now, the planet of action. And so just take some action, make some moves, have some fun. Ask people out, do things, ask people to do things, make plans, but be flexible. Okay, I've got some cards here for you for the week ahead. This Gemini new moon week, this Leo weekend with some sexy energy. Let's see what we got. I haven't looked at any of these cards yet. And we've got the High Priestess coming out. So she's a major arcana. She's the divine feminine. She's related to the sign Cancer, ruled by the moon. And she's coming up for you this big week ahead. So it's a relationship card because it's a 2. It's a watery, intuitive, psychic card because it's the High Priestess, and she knows to quiet down, to hear her own inner voice, to hear her guides, to hear the messages. We know this Gemini new moon is on Monday, and that's all about speaking up or listening or expressing or writing down your orders. And so with the High Priestess here, there's a sense of listening, quieting, calming, hearing the message, maybe not speaking it as much, maybe hearing it first. Now, our second card here from This Might Hurt Tarot deck is the Knight of Pentacles. And here he is, and he has arrived. And, I often say with the Knight of Pentacles that I feel like it takes him a long time to arrive. He moves pretty slowly, even though he's on his motorcycle here. But he is bringing something of value. And it's like something that's been slow going, and now it's here. Let's see what else we've got. We've got the Queen of Swords here. This is Lady Slipper from the Herbal Tarot, and it's the Queen of Swords. So you've got the High Priestess and a Queen. Right there, that feels pretty good. The Queen of Swords, the Queen of Air, she would be a Gemini queen. And we have this Gemini new moon. I don't know too much about Lady Slipper, but I do know that the Queen of Swords is a powerhouse kind of queen. She is not warm and fuzzy. She is to the point. She rules big business. I like in this one that she's barefoot. She's a little bit like more down to earth in a way. And so we've got a lot of powerful energy here. We have things arriving, things of value. See what your oracle is. This is the Oracle of Mystical Moments, and you've got Flower Spirit. And I swear to you, I think that's another Lady Slipper. And I did not look at any of these, so that makes it even more cool. Let's see what the book has to say. The Mystical Moments Oracle says Flower Spirit friendship, soul, tenderness, joy. This card shows the tender and sensitive flower fairy, the soul of each plant. She listens with all her heart to her friends and provides a soothing caress when their edges get prickly. By enjoying life and keeping the playfulness in her heart, she is a source of inspiration and joy. Her childlike vision helps her to see the good in all things, especially herself. Okay, I really am taken with the fact that I think that plant is the same. And I'm looking up Lady Slipper right now to see what the metaphysical meaning is. Let's see, or spiritual meaning. It says, across different societies, lady slippers have come to represent a spectrum of virtues, from strength and prosperity to innocence and good luck. The lady slipper is a spiritual companion, helping us to awaken our knowing that friendship is not only our fundamental yearning, but the only path to, and that's where it ends. Hold on, let me see if I can get the rest of it. But the only path to rediscovering our soul's interbeing with the greater web of creation, including the ever-abiding and loving source within us. Wow. So it's like, I don't know, the high priestess feels like what's within us, and then the queen of swords and flower spirit. So there's a lot of power here. But remember, the cards up here are your cards of the month. And so we see a lot of water there in the beginning. The hermit's actually sitting up there fishing in all that water, and the Five of Pentacles. So there's things here this week about value and your own value. We see like the Knight of Pentacles literally bringing money into the situation or bringing something of value. And I really think that this Venus retrograde, this is the week where you really start to understand what you learned. You learned about your power. You learned about your relationships and that relationship with yourself, because it's the most important. And other ones aren't going to, thrive unless the one with you is. So Lady Slipper is your flower of the week. I would get to know it. I'm going to get to know it more. And it does look like a beautiful week ahead. All right, so we have gone through the month of May. It looks like a great month. I'm really excited for May because I'm really tired of the retrogrades, and I've had about enough personally of all the planets in Pisces. That's just me. Maybe it was good for you. I would like some clarity. I'd like to be able to see a little bit more clearly. Again, we may not like what we see, but we're going to have to adjust. I think of mutable signs like Gemini that we can adjust. And so we will adjust our plans accordingly to make the most of these hard times that we're going through as a country, as a planet. But I see a chance. I see a chance for us to make the choices, keep them simple, and be able to move forward. There is some fun energy throughout the month. It's not all super serious, which thank goodness. And it's really interesting to think about who we're going to be as these planets change. Like I said in the beginning, a lot of these planets haven't changed signs in a long time. Neptune, 14 years. Saturn, 2.5 years. Pluto made its move recently, just a couple months ago, that after 20 years, I think it was 16 years. And so we're going into new times here. And so let's keep envisioning the positivity. Let's keep connecting as a society, right? It's very easy to feel alienated in this, especially as all those planets were in Pisces that cause us to retreat back. And, it's been winter here in New England. So this is a good time to start getting out, to start gathering with like-minded people, talking to like-minded people, getting support from others, knowing that you're not alone in everything. And if you're local, come join us for tea and tarot in Kent, Connecticut. It's a great way to join together with like-minded people and share. And I personally really enjoy it. And so we have some coming up. Check our website, tarotandtime.com, and to find out. And thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate your support. And I really hope that you will comment below and let me know if you've enjoyed this, if there's anything that you'd like to see me do in the future. And thank you again.